You're listening to Pombo and Peter's Picks, the home of your favorite sports betting podcast. Presented by The Daily Goat.
Welcome to another episode of Pombo and Peter's Picks. I'm Jason Pombo alongside Peter Alves as always. Peter, how are we doing today?
How we doing? It's a fun week. I'm in a happy mood. Happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween.
Week. I want to have a gripe with the NFL. Week 7 in the NFL absolutely sucked.
You didn't like Week 7 in the
No,
NFL?
all the games are terrible. No one-score game except the Falcons and Dolphins games.
Dolphins, yeah.
No game was close.
Yeah, no, that's a fair. That's fair. But going into the week, I felt like some of the games we're going to break down would be closer than they actually were. For example, the Bengals-Ravens, that's a divisional game. Usually those games are close. Titans-Chiefs, I think we both expected it to be close. And then you look at other games, the Colts-Niners, that was a one-score game for a while. But the rain kind of really ruined that game. It was just a mess. The New Orleans Seattle game was one score, but that was a 13-10 game. It was
and the weather in the
Geno
fourth
Smith
quarter
show.
that ruined it too.
Yeah, so I know what you're saying. It wasn't anything too exciting. Even the Thursday night game, it was Case Keenum leading the Browns. It wasn't even Baker Mayfield, so it kind of took the shine away from that. But this week, the slate looks a little bit better. Now, I guess we'll see how it all shakes out. But from looking at it, I feel like we'll have some closer games. I think there's a lot of big games this week. Some teams are in must-win situations, so should be good. So, Peter, let's recap last week. I went 3-2. My only losses were the Ravens minus 6.5 over the Bengals. The Bengals annihilated the Ravens, which we'll soon talk about. I was wrong about that one. And then I had the Texans plus 17.5 over the Cardinals. The Cardinals did end up covering on that one. And then my wins were Seattle plus 5. Seattle only lost by 3, so that was a W. I had the Titans plus 5.5 over the Chiefs, and the Titans wiped the floor with the Chiefs. And then I had the Colts plus 4 over the 49ers, and the Colts won the game outright. So I felt like it was pretty solid, Peter. I think we did a good week.
Yeah, I also went 3-2. I lost on the Chiefs minus 5.5, as you said, because the Chiefs didn't show up, and the Falcons minus 2.5. If you bet that later in the week, it went down to minus 1.5, and you would have won, but that's fine. And then we won on the Packers minus 8. They destroyed the Washington football team. I think Ron Rivera is going to get fired, but that's another story for another day. Cardinals minus 17.5. It waxed the Texans, and the Pats minus 6.5. They made Mike White look like stupid. And what kind of name is Mike White? That's so fake.
I know it's so funny. Exactly. I was talking about it with somebody. They're like, Mike White. Mike White is the name you give if you're getting in trouble with something. What's your name? Mike White.
That's my create like a Madden player. That's like the generic name they give you before you change it to whatever you want it to be.
Mike White's been in the NFL a couple of years now. He's just been a journeyman backup. He did throw his first career touchdown pass. I don't mean to interrupt your little segment, but that's why I talked about how it was imperative for the Jets to actually get a veteran backup quarterback, start out the season, aka Brian Hoyer, aka whoever you want to name. And they just traded for Joe Flacco a couple days ago. So,
which doesn't make sense either because just re-sign him last year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I agree. No, I agree. But yeah, that's my tangent on the Jets.
Yep, Jets are a dumpster fire as usual.
So we combined. Peter's good, 6-4. Let's see if we can do better this week. But I think we did pretty well.
Sure.
All right, let's start breaking down some games this past week. Let's start off with the Titans Chiefs. So you've been down about the Chiefs for a long time. And going into this game, I felt like it would be a very difficult game for the Chiefs. Titans were playing at home. They play well at home. They were coming off a great win against the Buffalo Bills. And it felt like Ryan Tannehill was starting to get hot. And since Tannehill's been in Tennessee, for the overwhelmingly majority part of it, he's played really well. Earlier in the year, he wasn't playing good. He was getting sacked a ton. But the Titans' offensive line has played better, and I felt they would build off that success and they would take advantage of a weak Chiefs defense, and that's what they did. Ryan Tannehill, he had his best game of the season. He was 21 of 27, 270 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. He was only sacked once. Derrick Henry, he had 29 carries for 86 yards, no touchdowns. But A.J. Brown, he had a great game. 8 catches, 133 yards, and 1 touchdown. And the Titans coasted to a 27-3 victory. Patrick Mahomes, he struggled again, 20 of 35, 206 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick. He was sacked 4 times. Peter, would you like to guess his QBR out of a scale of 1 through 100? 100 being the best, 1 being the worst.
Probably like 20, 25.
6.0.
Oh.
6.0 QBR. That has to be the worst of his career. And he left the game from a head injury, but all reports suggest that he passed concussion protocol, and they just held him out because they were getting killed. Wasn't good at all. They weren't able to run the ball at all. Patrick Mahomes was the Chiefs' leading rusher with 35 yards. And Tyreek Hill was mostly kept in check. 6 catches, 49 yards, no touchdowns. His longest play was only 17 yards. And I felt like the Chiefs in 2021, stopping them pretty much has to do with stopping Tyreek Hill. If you can limit Tyreek Hill and let Travis Kelce do whatever the hell he wants, I think that's the success to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know who the turnover leaders for the quarterbacks this year?
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. It's actually really crazy. I don't know what's happening to that team. I don't know if it's a coaching problem. I don't know if it's a personnel problem, but Patrick Mahomes looks lost, and he throws interception in the red zone. You don't see that every day. The defense obviously looks terrible. The O-line's breaking down. Patrick Mahomes is again running for his life.
Yep.
I think the Chiefs are in real trouble. They're facing the Giants. They should win, but like they should have won versus the Titans. They should have won last 2 weeks ago too. I mean, they're coming into a buzzsaw. They have to face the Packers, Bills. Like,
Yeah,
doesn't get easier.
No, you're right. So I think the Chiefs played this Monday night against the Giants at home. I think it's a must-win game for the Chiefs because their schedule after this, it gets difficult. They go to Vegas to take on the Raiders. Then they're home against the Cowboys. And then they play Green Bay. Actually, I'm sorry. I got that totally wrong. They play the Giants this week, like I said. Then they're at home against Green Bay, at Vegas to take on the Raiders, home against the Cowboys. So you could easily see a scenario which their season officially goes down the drain in the next 4 weeks.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. To me, anyway, if you look at the advanced metrics, all those metrics suggest the Chiefs' offense is still playing some good football in terms of scoring drives, least amount of punts, that sort of thing. I think the issue with them has been turnovers in the offensive line. Orlando Brown, the tackle they got from the Baltimore Ravens, he's been really bad. The Chiefs have a new makeshift offensive line in 2021, and it has not panned out at all. The only person playing well in that Chiefs offensive line is Joe Thuney. Other than that, it's been a complete mess. In the defense, like we always talk about every week, they have been really bad. The secondary, chief among it. So you look at this Chiefs team, I don't know. I still think they can rally. I still think they can be a playoff team. But the division, tell you what, if these next couple weeks don't go in the right direction for the Chiefs, I think they're in a lot of trouble. I don't think Mahomes is healthy. I don't think his foot is recovered. And that's what I think ultimately it is. It's a combination of different things. I think defenses are now understanding how to defend this Chiefs offense. I think Mahomes is ditching the pocket too much, and I think he's hurt. The Chiefs defense is bad. The Chiefs offensive line is bad. And I think all this equals the Chiefs struggling.
Did you see? All right, 3 things. Did you see the comparison versus Mahomes and Russell Wilson, the start of his career? It's actually pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Because they're a backup.
I didn't know what you're saying, but
it was the first year, and that was a wash, obviously. And then the second year, they won a Super Bowl. Third year, they both lost. And the fourth year, they both started 3-4.
It's interesting. Now, at the time when you talk about Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, I remember everyone talking about the Seahawks were the next dynasty in the NFL until Super Bowl 49 happened and the Malcolm Butler interception, and everything completely changed after that. It seems like that franchise.
Well, every franchise, it always happens like that. I mean, like when you give the quarterback your second contract and it's not on a rookie deal, it's kind of hard to move to the cap.
It could be that. I don't totally rule that out. I just think ultimately, like, the Chiefs' personnel on defense isn't good. The offensive line wasn't built really correctly. They mostly did it through free agency, trades, and trying to bring in some older veterans. And like I said, Mahomes isn't healthy. And I think the Chiefs, when they start off slow, I think they're trying to do too much to come back, and they're forcing turnovers, and it's not been good. I know Clyde Edwards-Helaire is out, so that affects the running game. But this Chiefs team, look, they're not good right now. It's as simple as that. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. I still do. I think Mahomes is too good, and I still think they figure it out. But, man, let's say they win against the Giants, but then they go 1-2 in that stretch over that 3 games, I still think you're in trouble because you have to deal with the Chargers and the Raiders, who both have better records and both are playing better football. So
You're lucky though that the Chiefs aren't in the NFC because I think the AFC is soft, so they're gonna
I
sneak
agree.
in.
I don't
They're
think there's
gonna
a
sneak into the
clear-cut
7th
favorite.
spot or the 6th spot. So
yeah. There is no clear-cut favorite in the AFC in my
I
opinion.
wish the Chiefs, their Super Bowl odds. I wish they got like knocked down. They're still way too high.
What are they, plus 1,400, right?
Yeah,
Plus
they're plus
1,200?
1,400. They're still way too high. I want them to bet like 2,500. That's an
If
easy
they
bet.
lose Sunday, if they lose Monday, then I think you'll see that complete drop.
For sure.
Not good for them. Not good at all.
And if you said that Derrick Henry would have more passing touchdowns than Patrick Mahomes this week, you would go crazy.
Yeah, who would ever thought that? All right, moving on. Bengals Ravens. So this was a game I liked the Ravens. And I don't want to say I wasn't a believer in the Bengals, but I felt like the Bengals were a little fraudulent, and I thought the Ravens were the best team in the AFC. I was wrong. The Bengals came out firing. They won 41-17. Joe Burrow, he's awesome. 28 of 38, 416 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was great here. And Jamar Chase, the rookie phenom, continues. 8 receptions, 201 yards, and 1 touchdown. He's been awesome. He's averaging 25 yards a catch in that game. He had an 82-yard touchdown. He had 10 targets. It's absurd.
It's
Lamar
true.
Jackson,
rookie of the year for sure.
Jamar Chase for sure. Lamar Jackson, he didn't have his best game. 15 of 31, 257 yards, 1 touchdown. And the Ravens, the run game continued to struggle. Lamar Jackson, if you take him out of the equation, they only had 27 yards rushing between Devonta Freeman, Tyson Williams, Le'Veon Bell. They struggled running the football. And you look at the Ravens, and the defense kind of unraveled a little bit. And I know the Ravens have won this season against great competition, but they kind of folded against the Bengals. Now, Peter, who do you think wins the AFC North?
Bengals.
Ooh, you think the Bengals, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be the Ravens or the Bengals. It's not going to be the Browns. Sorry, TJ. But I think that the Bengals showing that Joe Burrow is for real. And if it wasn't for the stupid kick in the Green Bay game, they would have been 6-1.
Yeah.
And I know you hate Zach Taylor, but I think he's going to win Coach of the Year.
Oh, please.
He will win Coach of the Year. If they win the first seed or second seed, they will win Coach of the Year.
I still think
I know it's more on Joe Burrow and that whole team around him, Jamar Chase and
I still think I still think the Ravens win the AFC North. But Joe Burrow's been awesome. So his first 7 games of 2020, he was 1-5-1, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, a completion percentage of 66.55, a quarterback rating 89.4, and he averaged 6.9 yards a throw. His first 7 games of 2021, he's 5-2, 17 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, a 68.9 completion percentage, quarterback rating of 108.9, and he's averaging 9.2 yards per throw. He's been great. Now, last year, I still saw the flashes, and I thought he played some good football. But this year, he's been awesome. And the offensive line has protected him for the most part, especially in the last couple games. This Bengals team, I think they're for real. I still ultimately like the Ravens to win that division. But it's tough to really crap on the Bengals right now. They play the Jets this week, so you're looking at a win there, and they're 6-2 almost halfway through the season. Now, things can unravel at any moment. But as of right now, it looks like Jamar Chase was certainly the right pick. I know I was a little skeptical, not anything wrong with Jamar Chase, but I just felt like the needed offensive line should have taken more of a precedent than it did. Like I would have picked Penei Sewell. Now,
but it all works out.
October 28th, 2021, after 7 games here. And someone else brought this up to me. The connection Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase had in college, they didn't need to work on chemistry. They already had that from week 1. They were ready to go.
Yeah, you see it when he's like mic'd up. Like they just talk like it's
when you go into a new offense, right, and you have a new quarterback, you need to learn different tendencies, what the quarterback likes, what the receiver likes. Like it's a whole new slew of things. When it comes to Burrow and Jamar Chase, they know they know it all already, and I think that gave them a leg up. Especially
if he's in trouble, I'm telling you, he just throws it up to Chase, and he's like, I know you'll go get it. So.
Exactly. And the Bengals, they look good. I can't really crap on them at the moment. Zach Taylor, I will not criticize him right now. I think his game plan was perfectly executed. I think they clearly wanted to take away the Ravens' run game, and they did that defensively. and I felt like they wanted to work the Ravens secondary, and they did that. They saw the mismatches with Jamar Chase. They saw they could get their tight ends open in some space, and they took advantage of it. They put up a lot of points. In the second half, they outscored the Ravens 28-7. Like, this game was close at halftime. I mean, I think the Bengals were up 13-10, but I mean, it was still close. But the Ravens just completely shit the bed in the second half, and the Bengals just coasted to a victory.
Bengals are for real for now. It's crazy.
What a year. I mean, the number one seed in the AFC, if the season ended today, would be the Bengals, and the number one seed in the NFC would be the Cardinals. Now, I don't think it's going to end that way, but two teams that it wasn't too long ago, they were the dumpster fire in the NFL, the Josh Rosen-led Arizona Cardinals and the end of the Andy Dalton era Cincinnati Bengals. So
it's true how the table has turned. And
yeah. And see what happens when you have a young quarterback in his rookie deal. Like, I think that makes a real difference. I know you talked about the Chiefs with Mahomes and stuff, and Russell Wilson with Seattle. Like, you see.
That's why Lamar Jackson needs to win, like, now.
Exactly. And I think the same thing with Baker Mayfield and the Browns.
But yeah, I think Baker Mayfield's toast. I think his market's dead too. So going back to the Case Keenum thing, if they can win with Case Keenum, it will show that, like, they don't need Baker Mayfield. It's not about him.
I think Baker's going to play this week. I think he's playing because I think he understands.
Like, he
understands that aspect. All right, let's just talk about some quick NFL topics here. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson. So we had Matt Cooney on before. Shout out, Matt.
We love you, Matt.
Love you, Matt. So Matt talked about Deshaun Watson in terms of him being a possibility for the Miami Dolphins. It's been talked about for a long time. And this past 10 days or so, it's really felt like the talks have ramped up. But today, I don't really know what to make of the news that we received. So yesterday, I believe it was Ian Rappaport reported that owner of the Carolina Panthers, David Tepper, is reportedly not expected to pursue Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson at this time. The quarterback has only waived his no-trade clause for the Dolphins. So I saw this Wednesday morning, and my thought was, looks like Watson doesn't want to go to Carolina. And that's kind of what shut that deal down. So I felt like it was Miami or bust, which it seems like it is at the moment. So then Josina Anderson, she released a tweet. So Josina Anderson is now with CBS Sports. She tweeted, while Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson has only waived his no-trade clause thus far to the Dolphins, which is true, she reported, as well as Ian Rappaport. She's also told that Miami's offer still does not meet the threshold to get a deal done. The price will not bend for Miami or any other team. So Josina's tweet, I think, to me, that's from the Texans' perspective. They don't like what Miami offered, and I think that's what they're saying.
I don't care. You're just going to be put on the exempt list. Like,
and that's
get whatever you can get. Like,
no, I wouldn't trade him. I really wouldn't, because I felt like you should wait to see how the legal situation.
No, because I think that, listen, if he was active this whole time, I think that Watson and the Texans are doing them a solid of enacting him every time, so the NFL doesn't have to act on it. Because if he was starting, I think it would be on the exempt list for 8 weeks now.
Yeah, there's no way. I'll tell you what, if he gets traded tomorrow to the Miami Dolphins or to whoever, there's no way I can see Roger Goodell in the NFL letting him play, especially with the Washington.
Or does Roger Goodell be like, listen, like, he's not going to play, like, just watch out for that? Or
he can say, look, you can make this deal fine, like, we're going to approve it and all that fun stuff, but he's going on the exempt list for the rest of the season. We're just letting you know that. And then we're probably going to suspend him 10 games next year. We're just letting you know. Does that change Miami's perspective on it? I don't know. I mean, if you think about it, let's say Houston wants 4 first-round picks, right? 4. And Tua. 4 first rounds and Tua. Now, if Watson can't play this year and he doesn't play the first 10 games next year, you're almost losing 2 years of Deshaun Watson.
And he's got 3 years left, I think, anyway.
So I don't know how
I don't know if that's how that works. Yeah,
I don't know how that works either. I don't know, especially with the exempt list. I'm not sure if his contract years actually count. Right now, this year counts. I believe this year will count. As far as I know, I don't know how the rest of it will play out. But let's say he's got to miss basically 2 years. You're gonna give up 4. You're gonna give up 4 first-round picks for. I don't know. I feel like that's just a lot if you're not going to get him for 2 years.
So I think it's tough because a lot of veteran quarterbacks this summer is going to move.
Yeah, and then you
Rodgers.
look, if Miami's like, why are we going to deal with this drama with Deshaun Watson? We have to wait till this legal stuff plays out. Or why don't we just try to take a gamble on somebody that could become available next offseason, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Russell Wilson. Well, let's say those two guys aren't interested. Maybe you could get a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo. I know he hasn't looked good, but if they keep Brian Flores, he has familiarity there.
I think Matt Ryan's going to get released.
You could see Matt Ryan potentially being on the table. Or do you stick it out with Tua? I mean, or do you take another stab at the draft?
No, speaking of Tua, listen, I'm the biggest ragger on Tua, but if I was Tua right now, I would ask the Dolphins to trade me right now. If you don't believe in me and I'm just sitting here and just wasting my career, and playing probably a little hurt for you, even though they're 1-6 or whatever it is, I would ask to get traded right now. I don't trust Brian Flores. I don't trust that GM. I don't trust that owner. I don't think anybody wants him around.
Yeah, and Flores, he backed him up yesterday in his press conference. He said, look, Tua's our quarterback. But you know what?
But he has to say
that for the locker room. Because how do you think the locker room feels?
Right. If I was Tua, I'd be like, what am I doing here?
Exactly.
We're just going to keep losing, and then it's going to be my fault, quote unquote. And
if you're Tua, you're sitting here and you're like, I have to deal with these rumors every single day, along with that we keep losing. And you know what? It's not all necessarily my fault. And we're losing. This is only my second year here. And you've already want to throw me out of town. Screw you.
Right.
I agree. If I'm
me
Tua,
7
I'm
overall or whatever it was. Come on.
You drafted me 5th overall before Justin Herbert. I'm pissed. If I'm him, I'm pissed. Now you look at Miami, and if the Watson trade doesn't happen, you need to sell Tua on no, that was all fake news. We're still involved with. We still want you in the future.
Listen, I think Flores is either going to get fired or they're going to have to trade for Watson.
I think Flores is gone regardless at the end of the season, in my opinion. No matter what, I think he's gone because let's say the Watson trade. Well, I don't think Watson's playing a snap in Miami in 2021 anyway. So even if he does get, let's say the trade happens tomorrow, and they finish off the year with Jacoby Brissett, they're going to win 3 games. They're going to go 3-14. I think Miami's going to move on and they're going to start a fresh page with Deshaun Watson and whoever he wants is to be the next head coach. I think Flores is done. And if they keep Tua and they struggle with Tua and they win 5 games with Tua being the starting quarterback, I still think Flores is gone. I think he's gone regardless. Tell you what, Peter, I'll give you another hot take. I think Flores gets canned before Matt Nagy does. And I hate to say it.
For sure. I think that's right. And I think Joe Judge will get canned before Matt Nagy does.
I think if you had to measure the hot seats, I think Flores is 1, Nagy's 2, Judge is 3. I think the top 2 are definitely
we can't rag on Nagy as COVID. R.I.P.
Nagy has COVID, but he knows he's getting fired at the end of the year. Nagy's done. He knows that, but Chicago, I think they've already accepted it and they're ready. Miami, I think they're surprised that they're gonna have to move on from Flores because last year
one or the other though. It's not his fault, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The team's so bad.
Yep. All right. NFL trade deadline, Peter, it's next Tuesday, November, I believe it's 2nd. So this will be our last show before the trade deadline. Do you think anything crazy happens? All right. Do you think Deshaun Watson's traded to the next time we record?
Miami. Yep.
Okay. I say no. I think the NFL trade deadline is overwhelmingly going to be a lot of.
Isn't it always like that though? It's always a lot of smoke and nothing ever happens.
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple years ago, it got some bigger moves. We saw guys like Emmanuel Sanders get moved, Mohamed Sanu. Those were some bigger names, starting receiver names. I could see a scenario like that, but other than that, I don't really see anything getting too out of hand. But
yeah, I don't.
All right.
Imagine a good thing the Dolphins has their second overall. Oh wait, no, they don't. They have the Eagles.
All right, and that's
Jalen Waddle. That's important.
I'm going to keep pounding the table for Philly for Deshaun Watson because they have all the ammunition to get him.
And I like Jalen Hurts.
I do.
Listen, if they want their second overall pick back, just trade Tua to the Eagles. Listen, I like Jalen Hurts though.
All right, Peter. Let's move on to some baseball talk. So the Red Sox lost, unfortunately, in the ALCS to the Houston Astros. They were up in the series 2-1, but lost 3 consecutive games to lose in 6 games. Originally, you had the Red Sox to win the series in 5. I had the Astros to win in 6. Unfortunately, my pick was correct. So, Peter, I know you probably have a lot of mixed emotions about the season, about the series. So what's your first takeaway from the 2021 Red Sox?
So overall, the Red Sox overachieved. Obviously, they were supposed to be an 82 win team. They're supposed to be middle of the pack, and they were in first place until July, and then they skidded all the way to the wild card game. They barely made it. They beat the Yankees. They beat the Rays in 4 games, and then they ran into the buzzsaw of the Houston Astros. They were up 2-1, and then the bats went quiet, real quiet. I mean, you got a great start with Vivaldi. You got a great start from Sale, and it just wasted those 2 opportunities. Luis Garcia in game 4, I mean, he screwed you over there. It should be 2-2 bottom of the 9th. But overall, the season was a huge success, but obviously it's sad.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like this Red Sox team, we finally got to see those glaring holes. And I think some of the bats went cold. Hunter Renfroe, Xander Bogaerts.
Hunter Renfroe. Don't even get me started. Hunter Renfroe.
Every
time.
Yeah.
Double play every time. Strikeout. Like, oh my God.
So, Peter, what's your ideal, before we move on to the World Series, what does your ideal offseason look like for the Boston Red Sox?
So get re-sign Erod 1 year. Get another legit pitcher. Doesn't even have to be Max Scherzer, but just somebody good. Re-sign either Bogarts or Devers to a long-term extension. Re-sign Schwarber and fix the bullpen, because you can't have. Because I think Garrett Whitlock's going to become a starter next year.
So here's the thing. Now with Garrett Whitlock, he did thrive out of the bullpen. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept him there. I agree with you. For me, anyway, the Devers extension is first. Then you look at Schwarber extending him. But if you bring in Schwarber, is JD Martinez out the door?
No, because he only has 1 year left on his player deal, and you can figure it out.
So where would you play him though?
Just first base.
You would keep Schwarber at first base,
and then you can rotate him in the outfield. Verdugo.
Yeah, I think that'd probably be the move to go. I think you can make some other minor adjustments. The bullpen, I definitely would want another arm, especially in the rotation. Chris Sale will come back in 2022 better than he was in 2021. That's obvious, especially having more than 6 months now. Well, when the season end? October. So what? November, December, January, February, March, April. 5-6 months longer to heal that shoulder and elbow. So that's good. Trying to think what else off the top of my head. That seems it. I mean, I don't think it's anything drastic. Now, sure, they could bring in a legit starting pitcher, but like, I don't think they need to do anything crazy.
No, because I think they're set in the diamond. And
yeah.
I just hope that Chaim Bloom doesn't be like, oh, we're the Tampa Bay Rays 2.0, so we can't spend any money.
Yeah.
You're the Boston Red Sox and you have unlimited money. So take advantage of that, please.
I don't think Max Scherzer, I don't think he's.
No, like I said, it doesn't have to be Max Scherzer.
Because that's somebody that Chaim Bloom look at and be like, this guy's in his 30s and he wants this. Like, that's a lot of money. And I agree with him. If he didn't bring in Scherzer for that, I would be completely okay. I think that starting pitcher might have to be acquired via trade. So I guess we'll see kind of who leaks free. I think it's going to be somebody. I don't think it's going to be a number one legit ace. I think it's going to be somebody that.
No, because you don't need an ace.
No, I think it's going to be somebody in the threes in terms of the ERA. Somebody more like a 2-3, like a second or third option. Like, I don't think it's going to be someone you're going to pair with Chris Sale. But we'll see. The Red Sox, I think they're in the right direction. And as they head into the offseason, I mean, it's hard to not feel good about this team in 2022. Now, Braves and Dodgers duking it out for the 2021. I'm sorry. Braves and Astros duking it out for the 2021 World Series. Now, when you look at the Braves, right, they're up in the series. Do you think that this is just the Braves series to lose?
Nah, the Braves are definitely going to lose. Charlie Martin's out for the rest of the series, and that's very huge. I think the Astros are going to win 6 games now.
So you like the Astros, huh?
Yeah, I thought the Braves were going to win because I thought that their pitching was better than the Astros, but after Charlie Morton's injury, I think they're toast.
I'm still going with the Braves here. I know the Morton loss is big, but they just feel like that team of destiny, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. They play well defensively. Like, I like the Braves here. I still think there's some question marks about the Astros rotation and bullpen. I'm going to go Braves in 7.
That's fair. That's another second guess by the Red Sox. If you could beat the Astros, you would have faced the Braves, and you would have had home field advantage in the stupid World Series.
You're right. You're right. And game 1 of the World Series would have been rained out.
Yeah, it's true. Game 2
No.
doesn't look so good either. So.
No. So it's unfortunate for the Red Sox, but I still think you can hold your hat and say, you know what, like this was a good season overall. All right, let's move on to the NBA. So the NBA, they started last week. We had our preview show last week with Brandon Carr and Noah Burnt of Rough in the Basket. A lot of fun. And your Bulls are undefeated. Lonzo Ball and company looking real good. So I know I still think it's really early and doesn't mean too much. And Zach LaVine is banged up with an injury already. But what do you think of this Bulls team? And I think you originally had him maybe 7th in the East.
Yeah, I think I had him like 6,
higher?
7. I thought their chemistry out of the gate was going to be a little wacky, but
Me too.
I think they're grooving real well. I don't know if it's because of the schedule, and obviously it's real early. It doesn't really matter if they're 4-0. It could spiral out of control later, but it's a pleasant surprise. And I'm telling you, Lonzo Ball is going to win Most Improved Player of the Year, and LeVar Ball is always right.
The new face of the NBA.
It's true. His other
Lonzo
son's 3-1 too, and he's balling out. So
yeah, no, LaMelo, he's played really well this year. This Hornets team, I picked them, I think 6th in the East. They're legit. They got better. I know they're still young, but they're so versatile in so many different positions. I like this Hornets team a lot. So while the Hornets and Bulls have played really well, and they've probably been the 2 best teams, especially in the Eastern Conference, the Lakers, I know they've strung together some wins over the last couple days, but they haven't looked fantastic. LeBron James is already hurt. Russell Westbrook's looked inconsistent. And the team kind of looks old to me. Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard already got into a little fight on the bench. How do you feel about this Lakers team?
I mean, they are old. Their average age is what, like 33 or
33?
something? I mean, they definitely have some load issues. They're gonna be resting their stars, but I'm not worried about them yet because it's so early, and Russell Westbrook usually turns it on in the second half of the season. But they do look bad. If LeBron's already like low-key hurt again, maybe you have to worry about that, like load management more than you were going in the first place. But no, I mean, it's so early. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the first 10, 15 games, you don't really see a lot in the NBA. I think a lot of it is kind of just very early stuff. That's why I'm not reading too much into the Bulls' early start. But the Lakers, I will say it's notable that LeBron's a little banged up. Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard already kind of fighting. Russell Westbrook, he just had a great game against the Spurs, but he's been inconsistent. I do think this Lakers team is old, and I think we talked about it on a preview show, and I think that's going to end up being their fatal flaw.
Go Warriors, though. 4-0. Steph Curry looks like he's
the MVP.
Steph Curry. Yeah, I know.
All right. Let's move on to our picks of the week, Peter. Okay, I'll start off with first here. I'm going to go the Steelers plus 3.5 over TJ's Browns. Baker Mayfield looks like he's going to be back in action this week, but I still like the Steelers. I don't think Baker Mayfield is healthy. Nick Chubb's banged up. He looks like he's going to give it a go. Odell Beckham, he's hurt. Kareem Hunt is out. In the Steelers team, they're coming off a bye week, and I do think they're going to be ready to go. I'm not in love with the Steelers team overall as a whole, but I think they can play tough football, and even if they end up losing this game by maybe 2 or 3 points the most, I think I could see that scenario playing out. I like the Steelers team to cover, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won. I think there's a lot of flaws in this Browns team that are going to be exposed.
For sure. I have the Rams minus 14 versus the Texans. I think any opportunity you can pick on Davis Mills, it's the right opportunity. And the Rams, I think they're the best team in the NFC. And even if Tyrod Taylor plays, I think they will win comfortably. But the spread will go down if Tyrod plays.
So Tyrod, it looks like they're going to activate him off IR. So he's going to start practicing, but it doesn't look like he's going to play this week. So my second pick, I'm going to go Lions plus 3.5 over the Eagles. Look, I've been banging on the Lions drums for a couple times now on the show, how they're going to get that first win. It hasn't happened yet. I think it happens this week at home against the Eagles. Nick Sirianni and the Eagles, they just don't look right. And I think Jalen Hurts, I don't necessarily think it's all his fault, but I think his game awareness isn't there. I also look at this Lions team, and they do anything for the opportunity to potentially win a game. Did you see what they did against the Rams? Those fake punts, the onside kicks, they'll do absolutely anything. I don't think the Eagles are that good, and I think the Lions will get their first win under Dan Campbell this week. Lions plus 3.5.
And that's why I have the Eagles minus 3.5, because I think because you've seen it twice already. The Ravens game, It was so high, and then they let down versus the Bears. And then the Vikings last second field goal let down versus the Bengals. They brought out everything versus the Lions, and they wanted to win. I mean, they brought out so many things versus the Rams. They wanted to win that game so bad. I think it's going to be a letdown spot versus the Eagles. And I wonder how long Dan Campbell can keep the guys being like, all right, we're going to win. We're going to like.
But I think he keeps them engaged by every overwhelming majority of the games here. I think it's probably 6 of the 7. They've been really close. Now, and especially in the first half and the third quarter, fourth quarter kind of gets a little different when the talent disparity is there. But I think Dan Campbell has his locker room believing in him. And Dan Campbell is keeping guys accountable. He threw Jared Goff under the bus a couple weeks ago. I like what Dan Campbell has done. Noah of Rough in the Basket said a quote to me. I'll read it to you. And I don't know if he's that far off, Peter. He said that, quote, Dan Campbell is the best 0-7 coach in NFL history.
That's probably right. He would be a great college coach.
He would be. He really would be. He's like Ed Orgeron on steroids.
Right.
But I think Campbell's done pretty well. The record hasn't shown, but
for sure. No,
people thought the Lions were going to get their doors blown off every game, and that hasn't been the case. They've stuck in there with almost every team they face, and I think they get the win this week. Nick Sirianni and Dan Campbell are two coaches I believe are going. One's going in the right direction, one's going in the wrong direction, and I think the coach in the right direction will come out on top. I'm going to go my next pick, Bengals -10. Cincinnati Bengals going to New York to take on the Jets. Jets, after that ugly defeat against the Patriots. I think the Bengals are going to play really well offensively. The Jets are starting your boy Mike White at quarterback this week. Doesn't seem like a great
Magic
recipe
Mike
for success. Robert Saleh, he has not looked great as a head coach in the first 7 games. Now, I don't want to blame it all on him.
You can second guess that
if
you want. How do you, if you're a defensive coordinator of the 49ers, how do you put up 54 points?
Exactly. No, you're right. But this is my overwhelming take on the Jets here is you're bringing a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, rookie offensive coordinator. How do you think that's all going to go?
Yep.
Like not going to be well. And that's exactly what's going on here. A lot of inexperience, and Saleh might end up getting the axe in a couple of years. I really, tell you what, Peter, I wouldn't be shocked if he got fired at the end of this year. I truthfully don't think that's completely out of the picture. I think it's unlikely, but I don't know, man. It's not looking good. And if it's just not looking good at all, but I like the Bengals here -10. Burrow and Jamar Chase have been a deadly combination. That Jets defense is really bad, and I think the Bengals are going to be able to run the ball, play well on all phases, and that Bengals defense isn't that bad. And I think they're going to make Mike White look like Mike White.
Magic Mike. And third pick, I have the Falcons -3. It's not more on the Falcons, it's more on the Panthers. Listen, are you going to say you're wrong about the Panthers? Sam Darnold looks like such a pumpkin. He's so bad. He got benched for PJ Walker.
Yeah, you're right. I'll keep talking. I have my.
I don't know. That team is a mess. Like I don't trust Sam Darnold. He's looking like the Jets. Sam Darnold. I don't know. Maybe the Jets were right for trading him for a 6th-round pick. Maybe it's really not the answer. Maybe that's why they're low-key sniffing around on Watson, even though they said no. But
yeah, for this game, I'm going to go under 46. Falcons Panthers. I'll respond to your Panthers. So Sam Darnold has not played well over the last 4 games. That's clear. And I think his decision-making has really reverted itself to New York Jets Sam Darnold. Now the reason is why? Is it because Christian McCaffrey isn't there? Is it for some reason? Why can't Darnold get on the same page with Robbie Anderson? That's one thing that is really head-scratching to me and is really, I don't understand.
Yeah, because they're timing the Jets too.
Yeah, I thought they would come in and they'd really hit it off like they did with the Jets. But Darnold's looked really bad. And I think the Panthers will not make the playoffs in 2021. And Darnold could be playing himself out of a job. And he really couldn't. If he scores 10 points or whatever it was this week against the Falcons, it would not surprise me the least bit to see the Panthers. I don't think the Panthers are going to bench him for good. I really don't, because they're paying him they just exercised a $17.5 million option for next season. So I don't think Matt Rule is going to pull the plug that way, but I do think he's gonna eventually be considered not part of their long-term plan. And I think that's why the Deshaun Watson rumors have started up. I think they'll be right in on there with Russell Wilson. And I don't think Darnold will be in Carolina very long if this continues. It's been really bad for the last month for Sam Darnold. And I like the under in this game, under 46. Atlanta's offense has played really well. Kyle Pitts has been explosive as all hell. But I think the Panthers defense can limit Matt Ryan in that offense. And I don't think that Panthers offense is really good, especially without McCaffrey. This game will be a messy, like 20-17 game. But I'm going to take the under 46.
I like it. The fourth pick, I have the Giants plus 10 over the Chiefs. It's more on the Chiefs. Chiefs, show me one time you can beat a bad team, or even a team that mop the floor with them. Listen. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants win outright.
So do you think the Chiefs win the game?
I don't know. I don't know.
On that. Okay.
I don't know.
You believer in my guy Joe Judge? All right, thank you.
No.
Oh yeah, you
not
are.
a believer in Patrick Mahomes anymore. Listen, next week they're gonna beat the Giants like 41-3, and it'll just be whatever. But
yeah, probably that'll probably be the easiest bet of all time. Bet Chiefs Super Bowl, Mahomes MVP now. Giants to lose this game.
It's gonna be an FU tour.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the Patriots in 14.
Yeah.
My final and pick of the week, my premium, Cowboys minus 2.5 over the Vikings. Why, Peter? Would you like to take any guesses of why?
Mike McCarthy.
I'm picking McCarthy. And you know what? McCarthy's going to screw me, and I'm going to be very upset because of it. But no, Peter, the reason is because of Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins in primetime, Peter, is not something you would like to
Oh,
bet
yeah,
on,
I should have got.
or,
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Cousins in primetime hasn't been good at all. The exact stats here, he's 8-16. Not good at all in primetime. Sunday Night Football has not really been his thing, nor really has Monday Night Football been his thing. Well, Monday Night Football has been worse. Monday Night Football, he's 1-9. Thursday Night Football, he's 2-5. So it's like he has had more success on Sunday Night Football. But I like the Cowboys here. All jokes aside, I think that offense is really propelling here. They're coming off a bye week. Prescott has looked awesome. He's been MVP conversation. Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard running the ball really well. This Cowboys defense has played extremely well. And I'm just not a believer in Mike Zimmer's Vikings right now. I know they've had some wins over the last couple of weeks, but I like the Cowboys minus 2.5 here. I think they cover. They win the game. Cowboys win this game pretty easily. I think they probably win something like 30-20 or something.
Isn't that an FU tour on the NFL to the MLB? Being like, here, we're going to put the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, where you're just going to watch that instead of the World Series.
Oh, the World Series is on Sunday too?
Yeah. I mean, Joe Buck's not doing the game, whatever game he's not doing.
Yeah, Joe Buck. I don't know what the Fox game of the week is this week.
I don't know because he's not doing it. Oh, well. I have a final pick. I have the Bills minus 14. That's my premium pick of the week. That is insane. Listen, the Bills versus the Dolphins. I think the spread should be 21-28. It's not even on Tua anymore, but he's not going to win that game. And it's going to be a spiral out of control. I think it's going to be like the Texans game where they win like 40-0, to be honest with you.
Or Matt. And I think I think the Fox game of the week is Bucs Saints this week.
What happens is that? Does Troy Aikman do it with somebody else?
Yeah, Aikman will do it with somebody else. And
yeah,
that's what it'll be. So if I had a sixth pick, the Bucs would be right there. I think they're going to kick the crap out of the Saints.
For sure.
All right, Peter, anything we didn't cover?
Yes, we did, Jason. We did forget something. This is Peter from the future, Peter the editor. Our survivor pick this week is the Bengals over the Jets. As we said before, if you have a quarterback named Mike White, you're not going to get it done, especially versus the Bengals, number 1 seed. The Bengals are going to win comfortably, and we'll ride on to week number 9 of the survivor picks. All right, back to the end of the episode of Pombo and Peter's picks. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Yeah, everyone have a nice, safe Halloween.
I'm hyped for Halloween.
Peter, what are you dressing up as Halloween?
Waldo.
Are you really?
Yeah. It's easy. Striped shirt, beanie, just wear my glasses. It's all good.
Cool.
You ever seen an Asian World Waldo? No? Well, no.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm dressing up as. We have a get together on Saturday. We'll both be going to. I don't know what I'm going to dress up as. I don't know.
This is the first time in a long time I've been hyped for Halloween.
Really?
Hyped.
Not me. Halloween's been last couple of years. Like last year, tell you what, I didn't. Last year, I think did you go to TJ's with me? No, you didn't.
No.
I went to TJ's house and we watched college football, and that was it. It was just us two watching college football. Like that was it. Yeah, I mean, Halloween to me, it's not one of my favorite holidays. It's just not. But That'll do it for another episode of Pombo and Peter's Picks. Next week, another big show. We'll recap this week in the NFL. We might have a World Series winner. We might. So we can talk about that. Some more updates on some NBA and who knows, maybe some college football, NHL in the mix. Is there a UFC card coming? We haven't done UFC in a while.
Yeah, it's there's a UFC card on Saturday, UFC 268. It's a free one, actually.
Is it? Okay. Well,
It's
we'll
an
get Dylan back
Abu Dhabi.
on in a couple of weeks to talk some UFC.
There's a UFC next weekend, and there's a UFC December 10th, and there's a UFC January.
December 10th was the big one. That's what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The week before, we'll have Dylan on. So UFC fans, we got you. We'll bring Dylan back for that. But thank you all for listening. Enjoy Halloween. And you got any Halloween? What's your Halloween saying? Got a Halloween saying?
Stay spooky.
Ah.
Ooh.